Greetings, campers! What a cheap shit piece of crap this was. It doesn't make any noise. Happy New Year! Glad to see you. Welcome. This is The World According to Yoni, and I am your host, Yoni Martin, as I have been all through 2020. Do I have to tell any of you what kind of shit year this has been? And I want to tell you something. As we go into 2021, I am not going to make the standard typical New Year's resolutions. Why, you ask? Well, because I did that at the end of 2019. 2019 was a god-awful year for our family. So going into 2020, we had so much hope. Oh, it was going to be wonderful. And we all know how that turned out. So going into 2021, I'm just going to say, please God, or whatever power may be in this universe, improve things. I mean, you are improving because today is T-minus 20 days until Joe Biden is inaugurated. For me, and I'm sure for most of you, that is a gift from heaven. The 4-year nightmare of Donald J. Trump is coming to an end, and I couldn't be happier. I may not look that happy, but really, I'm quite happy about that. Also, he said, we're going into a year that could bring an end or a slowdown to the pandemic if people choose to listen. I mean, this very week, we lost Congressman-elect Luke Letlau from the state of Louisiana. Now, Mr. Letlau was a Republican. Mr. Letlau, while not being an overt COVID denier, attended many events sans mask. He didn't seem to care about his health or anybody else's health around him because I guess he felt impervious up until the day he died at age 41, leaving behind 2 young children and a wife. I feel for them. I feel for anybody who has suffered during this pandemic. But, you know, this has got to be a lesson to somebody. You know, it would have been more impressive if it had happened to, I don't know, Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, Stephen Miller, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, any of those people. Had they died, maybe, just maybe, somebody would have woken up to the reality. But that didn't happen. It was Luke Letlau from Louisiana who hadn't even been sworn in yet. So I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do. I want to talk a little about the stimulus package, and I use the term loosely, that the government has been jerking around with. And when I say the government, I am talking about the RethugliKKKans. The Democrats would actually like to do something. The House of Representatives did do something. And then, of course, it got passed on to Moscow Mitch McConnell's desk. And what did he do? Jack fucking shit. No, I take that back. He didn't do jack shit. Even Donald Trump, God help us, wanted Americans to get $2,000 each as a stimulus. And speaking for my family, we could use it desperately, and I'm sure a lot of you could too. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's his greed, his avarice, what. Mitch McConnell will not even allow these bills to come to the floor of the Senate, which brings to my mind a question I've been wondering about for a while. Where is it written in the Constitution that the Senate Majority Leader has this absolutely unbridled power and ability to stop bills from coming to the Senate floor for a vote. Where is it written he gets to prevent a bill that the House of Representatives voted on from coming to the floor of the Senate to be debated and voted upon? I don't understand it. I don't get it. I know it's, not my job. But is this legal? I mean, is it written somewhere? Or is this just another of those, rules like that you can't charge a sitting president, which has no basis in the law? It just has been going on for so long that it's become habit. And when it's become habit, they think it means something, when in fact it doesn't. And I don't know why Mitch McConnell has been given the power to be the obstructionist he is, to deny millions of Americans this much needed infusion of capital into their bank accounts, which we all know would be out of their bank accounts within minutes because, rent, mortgage, food, bills, that gets eaten up really quickly. And I think the rich, into which category Mitch McConnell fits, have a tendency to forget it. I don't understand. I don't get it. But, McConnell attempted to tie this $2,000 into a couple of other bills, which is a typical common thing they do in Congress, tying one bill onto another. And if you don't want it to pass, you tie it onto something you know won't pass, and then it doesn't. So that's where we find ourselves. Excuse me 1 second. Here we go again. I have been doing this coughing thing for months now, and I don't know why, but c'est la vie. I'd also like to discuss this, I don't know what to call it, debacle the Trump administration has been. I mean, debacle doesn't even come near to covering it. It's the most criminal presidential administration, certainly in my lifetime. And if there's been one worse than this in American history, I can't imagine what it is. As a matter of fact, you know what? Even if there was an administration 100 years ago, 150 years ago, that was as corrupt as the Trump administration has been, let's face it, they haven't had the ability, or they didn't have the ability, to do what Trump has done. And I'm just, 20 days, what more damage can he do? He has, he's pardoned a bunch of his cronies, who are going around bragging about it. He pardoned 3 murderers, Blackwater employees. Remember Betsy DeVos's big brother who owns Blackwater and has all these mercenaries who go out and kill people? Or, sometimes they drive around in vans in towns like Seattle and kidnap people off the streets. Or sometimes they're more overt, like in Iraq, where they just murder people. And actually, these 3 clowns got convicted. They are convicted murderers, but they're pardoned because Donnie says they should be. Not that he owes anything to Blackwater or anything. It's insane. So we have the pardons, and then, of course, we have these ongoing lawsuits. How many lawsuits have to be thrown out before they will admit they were defeated? They lost. Trump and Pence lost. And I want to say something about Mike Pence. He has been very quiet lately. And that's clever on his part because he wants to survive. And he knows that the closer he is associated with the Trumpsters, the less his chances for survival are. So he's quietly kind of stepped off to the side while Rudy and this whole coterie of lawyers have filed these bogus suits trying to, have Wisconsin turned over, Pennsylvania's vote turned over. Interesting. They don't say anything about the Republican senators who were elected in these states or the Congress people, but, the presidential election was corrupt, even though the only proven voter fraud in this country has been supporters of Trump's. But what do I know? And now you've got that wonderful paragon of virtue, Texas Congressman Louis Gohmert, is filing a suit in the Supreme Court saying that Mike Pence has the ability as president pro tem of the Senate to overthrow the Electoral College vote. Pence, on the other hand, has no intention of doing so because he knows it'll only come back to bite him in the ass. But Gohmert has been kissing Trump's ass for 4 years now. Gohmert is a Gomer. He is an idiot. He is one of the biggest buffoons in the United States Congress. And that says something because he's got to go up against people like Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan for that title. So when I say Gohmert is one of the worst, I mean the guy is just complete and utter buffoon. But he's going to attempt to help Donnie again. Now, one might ask, why is this happening? Why are they continuing to do this? It's a very simple thing. Trump has millions of supporters. And, it's the Joseph Goebbels line, tell the biggest lie you can, keep repeating it, and the morons will believe you. Well, if millions of morons believe that Donald Trump had the election stolen from him, which is one of the biggest jokes I've ever heard, then maybe not only will they donate to these lawsuits, which is really funny because the money from these lawsuits is going into Trump's pocket, not into these lawsuits. Don't anybody kid yourself. But not only that, say that Trump starts a newsletter, say that Trump does anything after he's out of office, and he says, hey, you millions of people who support me, give me $5 a month and you'll get the Donald J. Trump newsletter, which tells you the truth about this country. Now, you and I know he wouldn't know the truth if it smacked him upside the head with a 2x4. But he says it to these morons, and they start donating $5 a month to get the Donald J. Trump newsletter, which will be written by somebody who's literate, I guess. Maybe Steve Miller, if he's not in jail, will have a new job. It's insane because this guy can make more money conning these people out of office, out of power, than he made even when he was stealing it as president. And my saying president and Trump in the same sentence makes me kind of ill, so forgive me. I just don't know. It is a coup. I've said this before, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face. What these people in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, who support Trump and continue to support him, are trying to pull off is a coup. Even the military is saying it's a coup they're trying to do. They are trying to do everything they can to sabotage Joe Biden and Kamala Harris before they come into office. What do we do about it? I have no fucking clue. No, that's not true. I do have a clue. My clue is these motherfuckers need desperately to be brought to justice. They need to be indicted, they need to be prosecuted, and they need to be put away because they have attempted to destroy the United States of America. And yes, the argument can be made, we are not united in any way, shape, or form. We are probably the most divided we've ever been in our history, and I'm including the Civil War, which was very uncivil, as we know. But right now, there are millions upon millions of Americans who hate other millions upon millions of Americans. And Donald Trump has brought that to the fore. I mean, he is still touting his Proud Boys, and let's call them what they are. They're not Proud Boys. They're nothing more than white supremacists and Nazis. But he wants them to come in on the 6th of January. That's the day the electoral vote is ratified in Congress. He wants them to come in and stir up as much trouble as they can. And I'm sure he wants them to come back for Inauguration Day to do the same, even though my gut instinct is that Trump will be on the helicopter out of Washington and into Mar-a-Lago before anyone can get to him on the 20th of January. So that, my friends, sums up the politics of 2020 for me. It's been a year I think most of us would rather forget, but probably never will. Now, I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, but it's been suggested I should do this because I wrote some, rather if I say so myself, some humorous comments about a new film that came out last week. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about WW84, Wonder Woman 1984. Now, I have some friends, Jody Hamilton among them, who think this movie had a great message and actually said something to people. What it said to me was, there's 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. I mean, I'm sorry. This film sucked. It sucked raw moose cocks. I loved Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman. It had everything. It had a beautiful leading lady. It had action. It had humor, a lot of humor. It had supporting cast of wonderful, wonderful actors, wonderful characters. And everything that movie was, WW84 was not. As a matter of fact, my advice would be, if you want to see it, watch the first 5 minutes. Because there's a little girl named Lily Aspel who plays young Diana for the first 5 minutes or so of the movie. And this kid is amazing. She's a Brit. She does her own stunts. She is, as far as I'm concerned, the entire movie. 5 minutes. Yeah, I like looking at Gal Gadot in cute outfits too. But the story is awful. The direction was awful. I mean, I don't want to give spoilers away, but there is a scene in this film that takes place in an invisible airplane that I would equate, in terms of triteness, to the scene in the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie where he's flying Margot Kidder as Lois Lane through the sky, and Margot's doing a voiceover about how wonderful it is to fly with Superman. And this invisible plane scene almost matches that scene for triteness. I love Kristen Wiig. She's a wonderful actress, comic, and she is none of that here. She's wasted. She's pointless. The ostensible bad guy, Pedro Pascal, I thought he couldn't act his way out of a paper bag until I saw the last scene in the movie. And then I was able to say, oh, the guy can act. He was just really directed badly. And then there's one point about this film that no one, at least no one I've heard, is talking about. Again, I can't do this without some kind of spoiler. So if you don't want a spoiler, go away, quickly, go, run, because I have to point this out. There is a person in this film who has been dead for a lengthy period of time and through cinematic magic is brought back to life by taking over the body of another person, another human being, a male human being. Now, when this character is in this other person's body, he has sex with a woman. I'll let you guess who these characters might be. But no one has mentioned if the guy whose body is being used by the dead guy is having sex and he doesn't know it, isn't that a form of rape? Now, if you reversed the roles and it was a woman whose body had been taken over by another dead woman and had sex, I don't think anybody would argue that it was rape. But that's what this is. And it doesn't seem to have occurred to anybody, including the people who love this film. Now, just for the record, I did invite my friend Jody Hamilton on to argue the point with me. She did it on her own show, From the Bunker, this week. And she claims she won. I'm not so sure she won the argument, but as far as I'm concerned, save yourself the 2 hours that you will never get back if you watch this film, because it's dreadful. It's awful. I mean, I can't say enough about it, because it's maybe one of the worst films I've seen in many, many years. And I had such hopes, such expectations. Oh, and the one last thing I'll say about this film. A few months ago, they were teasing a possible lesbian relationship or, hinting at it for Wonder Woman. Well, somewhere along the line, that teaser got dropped because there's no hint of it. And it would have made the movie at least have something of interest. But without it, it's just the complete piece of dreck I've been saying it is. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me for 2020. I hope you have a wonderful new year. I hope we all have a better year. I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to, say I hope this happens and that happens. I'm going to think it, but I'm not saying it out loud because I don't want to be disappointed again. All I want is on January 5th for John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock to beat the shit out of Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, to uber rich, uber stupid, uber ignorant, uber arrogant criminals. Why do I call them criminals? I call them criminals because the fact of the matter is they are. They are guilty of insider trading because the millions upon millions of dollars they already have, I guess, wasn't enough for them. So I would like to see Mr. Ossoff and Mr. Warnock become Senators Ossoff and Warnock, give the Senate back to the Democrats, and then Mitch McConnell can go back and just become the minority leader of the Senate and whine and bitch and moan, just like Chuck Schumer, except he'll be even more impotent than Schumer has been. So that's my hope for the 5th of January of the new year. And come the 20th and the inauguration of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, I am just going to pray that they don't just put things back to normal, to the way they were before, because the way they were before wasn't so great. I'm going to hope that the past 4 years has brought upon them the realization that this country needs real and very serious change. It needs to start caring about the people. And when I say the people, I'm talking about the 99% of us, not the billionaire class, the 1% who could care less. I'm hoping for all of us. So there you go. Again, Happy New Year. And I guess I will see you in January. Oh, and just in case anybody was wondering, I'm shooting this on New Year's Eve, so that's why I'm saying January, because it's not January yet. So let's all have a safe New Year's Eve, a safe start to the new year. Wear your fucking masks and wear them over your nose, not under your nose. Protect yourself, protect others, and care about each other. That's what we're supposed to do. I'm Yoni Martin, and I'm just saying Happy New Year to everybody. Bye-bye.